Good morning, magandang umaga po. This is not a video regarding changes to travel restrictions and such, but for me it's a very good news. Stay with me, we'll talk about it. In the past few days, or maybe few months, there have been a lot of changes being announced by IATF, restrict this, open this, restrict that. It's making our heads spin, and it's ridiculous. And I was a little upset about how they're behaving. But this time, a good news has surfaced, and I'd like to share it with you. As of this morning, probably yesterday, considering the Manila time, Philippine times, there was an article in the Inquirer Net, and let's read it, okay? This is dated March 24. Hontiveros, or Hontiveros, I don't know how to pronounce it, so excuse me, pushes for IATF overhaul with public health officers, not military, at helm. I did not realize that the IATF is being run by military people. Makes sense to me now. Manila, Philippines. Citing a system-wide failure, Senator Risa Hontiveros on Tuesday called for an immediate overhaul of the Interagency Task Force, IATF, for the management of emerging infectious disease, saying that it should be led by public health officers and not military officers. Well, hello. It just makes sense to do that. How come this is just coming up now? Hontiveros said that leaders and members of the IATF should be replaced with public health experts who actually know how to handle a public health emergency. Yep. The extreme call is to abolish the IATF, but during the pandemic, an interagency body is necessary. It must be led by a public health expert and epidemiologist, not by military officers, Hontiveros said in a statement. Boy, it's that time. This is a system-wide failure. The IATF has continuously and confidently walked in the wrong direction, backward, no matter how many times the public and lawmakers have called them out, she added. They're not listening. They're not listening. They think they're God. Hontiveros said that the members of task force do not know what they're doing and are not listening to experts. In denial din sila sa mga pagkukulang nila kaya hindi maayos yung pandemic response natin. We must undertake a complete management overhaul of the IATF, Hontiveros said. We need health experts who will lead the way, just like in other countries. We need a team of public health managers who understand that we need a systematic health approach and have the expertise to accomplish their mandate of effectively and scientifically controlling coronavirus, she added. Hontiveros said that while the IATF is important, it cannot be led by incompetent and short-sighted decision makers. Whoa. Whoa. That's reality. Sign of incompetence. Stop forcing the Filipino people to martyr themselves just to keep a few positions of power. The public has put up long enough with the IATF's gross mishandling of the most basic solutions of test, trace, isolate, and treat, she added, or she said. It has come to a point in which their failures are inexcusable and unforgivable. Overhaul the IATF immediately, the senator added. Senator Imee Marcos earlier urged President Rodrigo Duterte to overhaul the IATF amid the new surge of COVID-19 cases in the country. Marcos later called for the abolition of the task force. I have a comment regarding that. The proposed abolition of IATF was backed by Senate President Vincent Soto III citing what he said is the gross incompetence of the Department of Health, DOH, in handling of the pandemic. This was written nicely by a trainee, Lizelle Soriano Roy. Now, it's about time that this comes up. We have two choices. We could change the people at the top, replace them with more competent people and health professional, not military. Or two, we can abolish the entire IATF and replace it. I would say initially that overhauling it is fine. Just overhaul the top. Here's the problem with that. Sometimes you replace the top echelon, but then you still have a lot of Indians running around from the old regime. The Indians may still influence the outcome of whatever decision IATF makes. So sometimes there is justification for abolishing the entire thing, starting new. Call it IATF 2, okay, or IATF 3, whatever you call it, and replace the whole body with medical people. And I would also include some business people in there. So they're not just thinking of medical, because obviously the medical solution is close the country. That will take care of it, right? But what harm will it do for the country? That is when the business people should also be there to say there is an economic consequence if we do it this way, and start haggling amongst themselves in a more sensible manner. Not like the military style of arresting people and forcing people to do this and that. All right? Now, for example, here in the United States, there are also mandates to stay home, only essential travel when you need to. But guess what? I'm able to go to Connecticut and visit my son. To me, that is essential. So basically, they're leaving it up to you. Use your judgment. People, use your judgment. Don't go out to the shore or partying, a huge party and things like that. But leave it up to the people to make a decision. Now, it doesn't mean that they will not make an arrest. If there is really something severe or whatever, not even an arrest, it will be published in the papers and all that. Oh, so-and-so did this and did that. But basically, they trust the people to use their own judgment. You also see it on highways, pandemic, quarantine yourself, blah, blah, blah. But nobody's getting arrested. Military people, oh, they love to arrest. So that is the problem. It's like the country is being run by military. So I am really glad that at least some senators woke up to this, and I'm waiting to see what happens. But that's a good news, because I have been really frustrated. And look, I'm not even traveling, okay? I'm just broadcasting this, but my head is spinning around. I was going to prepare a cheat sheet that shows this is the regulation, and before I even finish it, they already changed it. So I said, let me hold off on that one until things stabilize a little bit. And if I were the Philippines, I would do one mandate and say this is effective for 5 months, not 1 month or 1 week, 5 months. And if things improve, you can go ahead and terminate the mandate sooner. That will be a pleasant surprise, as opposed to constantly changing it and people changing their plans, buying tickets, extending the ticket, canceling the ticket, whatever. Very, very, very frustrating. And that is something that IATF never heard. People's complaints, they never heard. Okay? So please do share this with other people. This is a good news, and we will wait for the result and see what happens. And I'll appreciate it if you can click like down below, and please subscribe unless you have already done so. Thank you so much for watching. God bless.